MrSavage and Velo have officially split. After 4 months together, the duo is over. I'll break down the whole situation for you in this video. So earlier today, we have the news that MrSavage has been dropped by Velo. Velo is instead playing with Zynox, and I will talk about that duo in just a moment. But firstly, the key question to ask is, was MrSavage and Velo's time together a success? And in my opinion, the answer to that is yes. Up until the most recent Divisional Cup, they had made every single finals together as a duo. That's 9 out of 9 finals, some remarkable consistency. What's more, they did also qualify for the Summit LAN, and I know they did underperform in Dusseldorf. Of course, they didn't get out of the lower bracket despite the fact they had uncontested squibbly shores, but nonetheless they made it to Germany, and they honestly had a lot of good moments together as a team. They started off really well. Their honeymoon period was brilliant. Prior to teaming up with Velo, MrSavage had been barely making any Divisional Cup finals, but that all completely changed when they formed as a duo. It was like night and day, and honestly it was looking like Savage had found his perfect match. He was leading, he was able to install his philosophy and strategies, all of this whilst Velo was playing underneath him in the support role. It was a dynamic that seemed to be working really well. Now, in recent weeks, it has to be said, things have not gone to plan. The vibes have kind of fallen off a little bit. It does feel like they're not as happy playing with each other. There are a few more arguments, a few more silent moments. We did have a moment where Velo rage quit out of a game in a tournament, so it's not been plain sailing. Nonetheless, I did feel like it could have been recovered, but you know what, if the vibes are gone, if they're not too happy playing with each other, then maybe it's mutually advantageous for both of these guys to go and find new teammates. It's also worth noting that in a couple of these recent tournaments, their cohesion in the end game has been lacking. It does feel like they're not able to stick together as a duo. They're off making solo plays, and you can't really be doing that at the top level. Now, if you take away one point from this video, the key thing I want to drive home about MrSavage and Velo is that neither player was significantly better or worse than the other. In my opinion, they consistently performed very equally. I don't think one player was a massive bottleneck. I don't think either of them were liabilities, no matter what narratives may say. I know there were a lot of people that were saying that Velo was selling, a lot of people saying the exact opposite. Both of these guys played fine. Ultimately, things haven't worked out, but the blame should not be pinned on just one player. So look, MrSavage and Velo was a duo that did have a lot of success, but for the past few weeks, they've not been on an upwards trajectory, so it does make sense why they've split. Now, Velo and Zynox is the completely new team, and honestly, this makes so much sense. They have a huge amount of experience playing together, so they will have a lot of chemistry, and I do feel like playing with Zynox guarantees you consistency. If you don't remember, Truly and Zynox qualified for all 6 Divisional Cup finals during Season 1, so Zynox has shown already that he can just consistently make these finals, which, to be fair, is what Velo and Savage were already doing, but when you throw Zynox into the mix, I do just feel like these guys are going to be absolute mainstays. Zynox isn't the flashiest player, they're not going to be top fragging by any means, but I do feel like this is a very solid UK duo, and I'm excited to see how they're going to do in the future. Also, shout out to my boy Frostbite for getting the coaching gig. These guys will be in safe hands under his guidance. Now, one aspect of the split that I haven't mentioned is that this could represent Velo wanting someone that does grind more. Savage obviously does work hard, but he has earned the nickname of Mr. Vacation. It's fair to say that he's been enjoying himself during the 2-week break, supporting Norway at the World Cup, so potentially Velo wants to play with Zynox because they can grind together, because they can put the hours in, and that could potentially work out well for both of them. If Savage can find someone that's perhaps a bit more low-key, that could be beneficial for him too. Now, I'm going to discuss Savage's potential options in just a moment, but firstly, let's talk about some other duo updates in EU, because with some of these guys, they could be options for Savage. Now, it's fair to say that the 2-week break has brought chaos in terms of team changes. We had Khan and Faded Pigeon split as a duo. Interestingly, they will still be together for the Esports World Cup LAN next month. Of course, they made it through to that in qualifier 2. It's going to be interesting to see whether this split affects their chemistry. Will they struggle to play as cohesively as they did before, or potentially this split may preserve their vibes. It may enable them to have a fresh outlook on playing together, and it might be just what they need to perform well in Paris. Now, we have the news that Khan will be playing with Reason. This is a pretty exciting team. We'll have to see how they get on, and Faded Pigeon is currently still looking for a teammate. We also have the news that Akira and Karama have reunited as a duo, and this is genuinely one that I did see coming. I do feel like they were way too good together to not run it back. Yes, FNCS was a disappointment. Yes, they underperformed at the Summit LAN, but they were contested for a lot of those matches, so you can cut them some slack, and honestly, their results were steadily improving prior to their split. It did kind of come out of the blue. Now, it's fair to assume that Mumsy and Skyjump qualifying for the EWC LAN had a big part to play in this. Of course, Akira was with Mumsy whilst Karama was with Skyjump, but with Mumsy Clumsy and Skyjump seemingly reforming as a duo, it did make sense for Akira and Kurama to also reunite. However, one duo split that in my opinion does not make sense is Twek and Gonzo. They are no longer playing together, despite the fact that they won the Week 2 Divisional Cup looking really impressive. I can't understand this, genuinely. They were looking so good together, and it's just a shame. It's a shame when you have up and coming duos that look like they're going to be good, that look like there's going to be big storylines around them, and then they just split at the first hurdle. So I'm definitely upset about that, but listen, I do think we'll likely see Gonzo playing with iDrop. Gonzo could be an option for Mr. Savage, which I'll get into later. I'm not sure what Twek's options are right now, but I do think these guys are making a mistake splitting because they look so solid in Week 2 of that Divisional Cup. They were competing with the very best duos in EU, looking like they belonged with the tier 1s, and yeah, just a weird decision maybe. In other news, we've got Wox and Kiro as a new team. They will be landing over at Sinister Strip. Now, of course, the team that was going there previously was Pablo, Wingu and Chino. They have now decided to switch drop spots. They will be going to Shake and Sanctuary, and that's because the big sprite has now moved there, so the POI has been buffed. Of course, Peterbot and Poyo now choosing to land there too on NA Central, so it does look like that is the go-to spot for the top teams. There's a bunch of other players looking for duos, the likes of Syned, Minori, and in the upcoming Divisional Cup this week, we'll be able to see all of the new teams. Now, as promised, let's discuss some of Mr. Savage's potential teammate options. This all depends on what kind of profile he's looking to pick up. Does he, one, look for a fragger, someone that's just going to play under him, similarly to how Velo did, or two, does he look for someone that's going to co-IGL with him, someone that will create a fluid leadership dynamic, similar to how he played with Yapko, similar to how he played with Tayson during that brief week where they were together? I feel like he's probably going to lean towards the first option, just looking for a fragger so he can install his own philosophy, so he can kind of play the Fortnite that he believes is best. And someone like a Gonzo would work super well for this. Of course, they are both Norwegian, so they've got that chemistry green link, and if Gonzo doesn't go and play with iDrop, which to be fair I do think he will do, then that could work really well as a team. Gonzo is of course super underrated, a Divisional Cup winner this year. I've got a lot of time for him. Truly is also a potential option. He of course was with Zynox before, and now he's been left without a duo after Velo and Zynox formed, so maybe the easiest option is just for them to get together. I'm not sure I can see that one happening, but it is a choice. You've got the likes of Ghost, who I think is potentially the standout choice here. Ghost is an insanely good fragger. Yes, he's on a high ping, he plays on about 50 ping from Greece, but he still is ridiculously good. And if Savage is just looking for a pure fragger to guide through the end game, then Ghost is an absolutely insane pickup. You've of course got the likes of Twek, someone who is now of course looking for a duo. Reason, if he potentially split with Khan, maybe we could see them get back together, but I do think that's unlikely. Faded Pigeon is now on the market, as is Uppal, the Estonian pro, someone who has played with Savage in the past when they were both with Panzer, but again, I'm not sure I can see that one. I do think that Ghost is the most likely option here, but I also think that Gonzo, if he didn't play with iDrop, would make a lot of sense too. I'm just editing the video now, but I've just realised one more option that could be great for Savage, and that is Frosty. He is a UK player, someone who is doing really well with bevies, but he did get dropped in quite harsh circumstances. He would play the Velo role where he would just support Savage, allow Savage to IGL in any way he wanted, and honestly I think that could work really well. Frosty is a genuine contender. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with European Fortnite news. If you want to learn more about Twek and Gonzo's Divisional Cup win, then watch the video that's up on screen now. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.